Conscious Uncoupling, Gingerbread Throwdowns, One Last Totally Normal Family Christmas, Inconvenient New Crushes, and Pearson Fodé. That's right.
Pearson Fodé!
The most important part of this whole movie. We are breaking down 2025 rom-com Merry Little Xmas with Alicia Silverstone, Oliver Hudson, Jamila Jamil, and Pearson Fodé, currently streaming on Netflix.
Yay! No, not yay.
Yay? I was going to say, I don't think it's yay, but...
Welcome to the RomCom Rescue podcast, a brand new podcast where we bring the love and life lessons from your favorite rom-coms. I'm Kira Sabin. I'm a healthy dating educator, a certified coach, and a positive psychology practitioner. But more importantly, I spend my days teaching the skills and mindsets of dating.
And I'm Dr. Isabel Morley. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and an EFT certified couples therapist. And I help couples have the happiest, healthiest relationship possible. Join us weekly as we break down the best love lessons from your favorite rom-coms so we can all get into the best relationships possible. Because we believe that we create our own happily ever afters.
Welcome to RomCom Rescue Holiday Extravaganza! Grab your cocoa and your coziest blanket because we are diving headfirst into holiday movie season. And I'm going to just say, I was not ready. Each week from now on through the New Year's, we are going to be breaking down the newest holiday rom-coms, the love lessons, the red flag, the chemistry, the chaos, and everything in between. It's festive, it's funny, and it's full of questionable plot lines and even better conversation. Let the holiday rom-com chaos begin.
2 rules of RomCom Rescue. Watch it first because we spoil the hell out of it.
And if you have children around, please put on headphones because I'm a bit of a swear bear. All right, guys, so our very first holiday rom-com coming in hot or cold or I don't know, something very in between.
Arctic.
In between. We are talking about Merry Little Xmas. This is our first one. It's on Netflix. I'm actually a fan of all of these actors.
Me too. That's why this was so disappointing.
So disappointing. And guys, we don't want to come on here and rail on stuff. We want to feel the magic, especially the holiday magic. I mean, Hot Frosty was 20 times better than this, I think.
Hot Frosty was so much better, and in part because it just went with magic.
Right.
That saved it, and it could have saved this movie too. But I agree, we want to have a happy, fun time. We're wearing adorable headbands for the festive season.
We are.
We want to have a good time, but this movie, it was rough.
So I wrote right away, this was really messy.
Uh-huh.
It is literally a warning video of why you don't date people who aren't divorced yet.
Yeah.
Who have clearly not learned what role they played in their former relationship ending, have not established what their new life apart looks like, especially with kids, holidays, extended family, have not worked through their old wounds and triggers and are bringing them to a new relationship and are in no way single and ready to fucking mingle. This was,
No.
For my singles, I have a pretty hardcore rule, which is you wait till people are divorced because there's just so much emotion that comes up. There's so many things that you're going through that you do not want to end up being their accidental therapist. You do not want to be, and you're going to be riding a roller coaster with them and you're choosing it. If they are getting divorced, let them get divorced and let them present themselves as ready. Instead of trying to fake this because, boy, this was rough. What did you think?
So can I just say, first of all, there's so many plot holes. I'm not even going to mention them. I started to write them down and I erased everything and I just decided to say, none of this makes sense. So many parts of this movie did not make any sense. I completely agree that they were not ready to date. He was certainly not ready to have a girlfriend move in with him in a small town where everyone knows everyone's business, and somehow his ex-wife wasn't aware of this. And he, like, honestly, I didn't like how they kind of mocked their divorce in a weird way. There's sort of more conscious uncoupling and everyone made fun of them for it. And they weren't doing a good job of it. That is not what we saw. Is not conscious uncoupling. Yes. And I have a lot of respect for the author who is like trying to pioneer this new way of divorcing and prioritizing the right things in the process. And I thought that they kind of made a mockery of it.
Agreed.
And I mean, you know, I'm going to get into this. I hated the I feel statements.
Oh, I bet you did. I bet you did.
They just butchered it. It's not I feel that you did a thing, right? I feel fact. It's like I feel insert vulnerable feeling. So like that annoyed me. Honestly, so to the divorce piece, the biggest thing of all was you have to go apart before you can come back together. You can't divorce and then do all your family holidays together in the same way, at least not right away. Like you need that separation and space to process and to heal and to establish new boundaries and new traditions, and that they thought they could just sort of like roll through the holidays like nothing had changed made no sense. Not healthy.
It made zero sense. It was like from the moment that we meet them and the whole town weighing in on the conscious uncoupling and everything else, I'm like, Netflix, what are you doing? Right? I have seen Netflix put out really, really good rom-coms. Some of my favorite rom-coms of the last 10 years, Netflix made. Always Be My Maybe. I like Set It Up. We both loved Love at First Sight.
Oh my God, we
both loved it. We have watched beautiful rom-coms, well-done rom-coms on Netflix, and they are phoning it in.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I don't even think Santa would have been okay with this one because it was...
So here's... I got to a point where I was like, this is so bad, but I bet I know what's going to happen. That's going to turn it all around is that the new partners, Chet and Tess, are going to be like magical elves sent by Santa to get them back together, right? It's going to be that level of like holiday magic. And at the end, Tess and Chet will wink at each other and get in the sleigh and go back to the North Pole. Like I thought that would have actually made this movie made sense, but that did not happen.
I know, because you have the whole fantasy world of the holidays. So why you would just make it two people who are clearly really emotionally immature as partners, as parents?
We're going to have to get into that.
Yeah, let's just
should we dive in?
Yeah, absolutely. They did not do Kate. And we're going to be talking mostly about Kate. Not because we're the patriarchy, but because they really did not give Everett even much of a personality or a role. He was just like, oh, I have a new girlfriend. Oh, I'm really doing this poorly. So really, we saw a lot of Kate's journey, and they did her no favors. They did not make her likable. They did not make her a great partner. They did not make her a great mother or a great daughter-in-law or a great future mother-in-law. Considering how much she loved Christmas, supposedly, she was not bringing the holiday fucking spirit. That is for sure.
Well, but she thought that she was, and that was the problem. Like, she was bringing it in the way that she thought it had to be, that was acceptable to Kate, and everybody better get on board with these traditions that they did not want to participate in. And that, for me, was this overarching Kate theme. So controlling and such a victim. It's hard to get behind somebody like that.
It really is. I work with midlife women, and where their kids are now leaving the nest, and you kind of take stock of your relationship. You're going to now be alone, just the two of you. You know, do you want this? Do you want to move forward with it? But just they made her such a victim of her own choices.
Yes.
And I just want to say that this is the most boring stuff that I talk about, but we see Kate, and I know this is actually really true of Alicia Silverstone too, which is she is a very proud vegan, very environmentally impact friendly. And I love that they brought that in. But the problem is that she was this person and expected everybody else to live in those values, in that lifestyle. And clearly, Everett
the doctor
didn't love it. right? Because as soon as he gets on his own, he puts up a bunch of Christmas lights. He takes a longer than 5-minute shower. He does all of these things. And I do have to say, as much as I respect and think that if that's your values, that's great. Everybody needs to be on board for that relationship to work.
Yes. It doesn't work to shame people
Right.
into feeling and acting the way that you want them to. And I will say, I agree with her values. I'm a vegetarian, right? You cannot control other people's choices. And if you shame people for their choices, it only entrenches them further in what they want to do, because nobody wants to feel like their autonomy is being taken away from them. And she just, with her kids, right, saying her daughter shouldn't date this Harry Potter guy, Nigel, saying her son has to go to college when he's been so clear about his life goal. She just is controlling everyone all the time, but in a sort of manipulative way, because it's, it's just because I love you and it's in your best interest and I want you to end up like me. Don't get stuck in a small town. Go live your dreams. Stop projecting all of your shit onto everybody around you.
And I was like, could we talk more about projection here? Like saying to her daughter, well, no, not really, Nigel. And then her daughter's like, you know what? He is fun. He is light. He's exactly what I need because I'm serious, which I agree. And Kate, you're highly unhappy. So maybe you're not the one giving advice. In fact, I regularly say to my people, if they're not happy, don't take advice from them. Why would we take advice from family members, friends, things like that? If they are not living a happy, healthy life, emotionally and mentally, like that's not the person who gets the power to weigh in on your life. So Kate is clearly unhappy. She is unconsciously uncoupling. She is, immature. Angry at Everett for supposedly bringing her to a small town and making her stay. Like she is not a woman with autonomy. Like she didn't have choices throughout this.
I pulled out a quote that I thought was perfect to encapsulate this, because she says, like, you blah, blah, right? She says, you dragged me to this tiny town. And he says, I didn't drag you. I brought you to the place I loved the most because you're the person I loved the most.
Like probably the best written line in this whole thing, because the rest of it is questionable at best. But yes, and if she at any point was unhappy, then conversation should have been brought up.
Yes, I want to start working again. Can we talk about moving? Right? I want to get more opportunities. I can't get them here. And like, we don't know if they had those conversations or not, but
it doesn't feel like they did, right? It feels a little like everybody's a little blindsided that all of a sudden she wants to up and move to Boston.
The job that was still waiting for her.
Right.
Kira. 20 years later.
Some years later,
That's
right? So I just need them to give these people some real conflicts and just real skills. There's just 1,000 ways that we could make what a couple who is going through a divorce through the holidays, what that would look like without it being this.
Ridiculous.
And then bringing in not one, but two outside people. Oy vey.
Let's talk about this. And obviously we know that I'm in love with Pearson, so I hate to say this.
I know you do.
What was he doing in this movie?
I don't. He was literally there 100%.
To take his shirt off.
Yes.
And we're not saying no, but
I mean, there was no reason for him whatsoever.
No.
He did not have a personality. His personality was to make Kate feel good about herself and make Everett jealous, I guess, which, wow, Kate, that is middle school awesomeness, right? Oh my gosh.
Her retaliation to bring Chet around just to annoy Everett. Also, I mean, Chet's clearly a fuckboy. Like, he sees her and is like hitting on her beyond belief, coming around. He's an idiot, but he's obsessed with her. This is why if he was an elf, it would have been so much better. You know, like he's this like dumb little elf doing his job, and Tess is like the smarter elf who's, I guess we're getting it done. It would have been so much better. But, I didn't like to see this retaliation of, well, you found somebody, so I'm going to make you jealous too. Not healthy. Let's pause the whole kid thing. That they would do this to their kids is a whole nother issue. I also didn't like to see her tear Tess down. She was not nice to other women, and I do not like to see that.
I don't either. And like, she was okay with it if she's a butter sculptor from like Iowa, right? Like, then she's okay with, but God forbid that he dates somebody who is attractive and
Smart.
successful and a smart and everything else.
And Tess was nice and gracious and like herself, you know? I mean, like, we don't expect much from her in this situation. I think Tess
Right.
was actually one of the more mature people in
I
this
would say
entire movie.
I would say she was the like healthiest character because
Yeah.
we actually see her set boundaries. We actually
Yeah.
see her have real conversations such as, do I
Yeah.
need to be worried here? There seems to be quite a bit of feelings still with your ex. And then she walked away because there's clearly some attachment stuff
Yeah.
that they need to work through, whether it's
Yeah.
together or apart or whatever, because they are not ready. And I don't
No.
care if he's a small town doctor, and Oliver Hudson sure is adorable, in this beautiful house called the Mothership.
Which they
But
never explain. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so weird.
It was
So
weird. It
weird.
was weird.
It's so weird. And, and just bringing in, I swear to God, Pearson Fodé was like added in at the last minute because they're like, we
We
need
get another
some
hot guy.
eye candy or something. And so we're going to bring in this guy who, like, is wearing a stripper tux that has candy cane underwear underneath. I mean, I'm just like, what is
Kira,
going on?
to your
What is going on?
to your family Christmas with your
Yes.
two kids who are processing their parents' divorce. These
Right.
kids, by the way, are like mature and together beyond their years because they're like, okay, our parents are getting divorced and we'll just like figure it out and spend time with both of them together and apart, and they're unaffected, which is not realistic, but that's fine. But then to bring around this random stripper, Christmas tree salesman, plower, a little jack of all trades, to bring those people into your life, into your family, your kids' life at a critical time, a sensitive time. They were such bad parents to these kids.
Terrible.
They had arguments
Terrible.
in front of the kids. Like, they could not table and contain anything. I mean, she has a blow up in which she discloses really inappropriate information about how she feels about being dragged to this tiny town when she breaks
Right?
the gingerbread house in front of everyone. I mean, she is not a well-regulated person.
That is so true. I mean, what are you showing to your kids? And if you're so conscious on coupling, why have you not discussed if you're going to date, what that dating will look like, when they will meet the kids, when
Yep.
and
Yep.
clearly everybody is all up in their business. We've got, the two dads who clearly have all the information, which nobody should have all the information before your ex-partner, right? If you are consciously uncoupling, or even if you are just straight up divorcing, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You guys should be discussing this more than this. I think you and I are very much similar, and I would feel the exact same way if their roles were switched.
Absolutely.
But, there is a point, and what I say to my clients is, did your ex suck? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there. But focusing on that and spending your time blaming them instead of looking at what your role is, why you chose them, why you stayed, what you allowed, what you tolerated, that's where the information is that's going to be helpful.
Yes.
So Kate's got a lot of growing up to do on understanding that she chose this life. She chose to raise kids in a small town with this man in this beautiful, stunning house.
Yeah. She's not living a bad situation here. This is like peak
She
privilege.
is not. Yeah, exactly. And so I think it's great that she has a second chapter. I think it's great that she's like, okay, I'm now ready to put some time into something that I value and believe in. There is nothing wrong with that. But to tear down your past, your choices that you made as a couple and as a family in that process, that was
Fair.
just gross.
She's essentially saying, I sacrificed too much for you and your dad, and I regret it. And it's okay to have regret. Maybe you look back and think, oh, I wish that I hadn't made that choice. I actually wish my career was in this place now.
Right.
But to your point of, you take responsibility for the choice that you made and why you made it, and then you figure out how you can change your circumstances. You empower yourself. You find your
Yes.
agency. And she was so victim mindset the whole time, but then also making those changes and not telling people that it affects. If you're going to sell the family home, right? And
Right.
move, you're not going to let people know this is happening. Also, this job that has been apparently reopened or waiting for her is going to wait for her for another 6 to 12 months. Do people understand how architecture works? Also, architecture is a horrible job. It's a terrible job to have. So I don't know why she's stressed about this.
And we saw this last week in our Pearson Fodé back-to-back rom-com episodes
Magic.
here. But, Dawn had a very specific way of looking at her future, and it had to go this way, and it has to work like this. And same with her. Like, I have this one job in Boston.
Right?
And I guess in no way over the last 20 some years that I've been in this town could I better myself, learn this career, understand what I'm doing, working towards my goals. I mean, it is 2025. There is online school. There has been now for 15 plus years. It's just,
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And I just like things to at least make a little bit of sense. Own that you made these decisions and now you want to make different decisions. But blaming everybody in your life for decisions that you were a part of making and went along with. But as somebody who was single until my 40s and works with a lot of singles, it is and I use the word gift, use the word privilege, that she also had this doctor husband. Now, maybe he was working a lot, everything else, but to afford this beautiful home, to afford her being able to be a handy woman around town. If you were single or a single mom, you would be working 40 plus hours a week, probably not doing just fun things for the neighbors. You would have to get a job. And in a small town, well-paying jobs are few and far between. I am from a small town. So she can say what she wants to say about her choices, but her choices also were bringing up her children in a safe and beautiful home that ultimately they made it an agreement, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere, whether they said it out loud or not, there was an agreement made. And you get to say, this agreement doesn't work for me anymore. Let's revisit. Let's look at it. But for her to completely discount her life and all of the privileges and gifts that she's had growing up in this great town where everybody seems to love her, not sure why, because she's not very nice, then her son writing the college essay about her.
Everybody's sucking up to her. Everybody was sort of like inflating her ego because it was so fragile to begin with. And I think it just shows her insecurity. And also she's living a fantasy about what her career in architecture was going to be.
Yes.
That she was going to change the world for sustainability, and this green architecture was going to do it all and save the planet. Guess what a career in architecture looks like, lady? I've worked with architects. They're working 80 hours a week. They're not sleeping. They're stressed. They're getting terrible projects. This is not like the fun, whatever you want to do career.
Exactly. You're designing strip malls. Most architecture isn't the Guggenheim. It is stuff that probably does not fill the soul in lots of ways. And once again, there's a ton of ways to be environmental, sustainable, pursuing that, especially if her kids have been in school for a while. So it's just,
this
make
is what
it
I
make
wish.
sense, everybody.
I wish that they had just made that they were getting divorced because her kids were, grown and leaving, and she realized, oh my God, now that this part of my life is gone, I really do miss what I wanted to do with my career. I want to make this a focus. I'm going to go back to Boston. And him being like, I can't do that. My practice is here. My family is here. And that's why they were going to get divorced, which would be so understandable and like a hard decision, but everybody would be in the know. And then they go through this progression, maybe a little less ridiculous, and realize, oh, actually, like, we love each other too much. And him saying, I will give this up because you gave up a thing for me and I want to support you. I would rather be with you. I'll go to Boston. Should we talk about how at the end he says, I'll go with you? And she says, no, I'll stay here. And I was like, it's a trap. Don't do it, Everett. Don't do it.
I love how we even have an opening for this next chapter of her life that she's like so fiercely fighting for.
Yeah.
Right? And then just like, no, I want to stay here with you in Winterlight. Although I just had like literally a whole couple week breakdown about it. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it would have been great if he would have said, let's make this next chapter about you. I'll find a job. I mean, he's a freaking doctor, so he could probably find a job somewhere. That would have been the ending. And instead, they're exactly where they were when they started.
And guess what? In 10 years, it's going to be the same conversation.
Yep. In 2 months, it's going to be the same conversation.
Yeah.
Nothing's actually changed here. The only thing that has changed is they've realized that they do still care for each other, but do they want to work on that?
Together?
Right? Do you want to work on that?
Yes.
Are you going to get your asses in therapy to work out what wasn't working? Because clearly you were getting a divorce for a reason, right?
Well,
And
this is where I'm going to disagree with you because
okay.
she got him the indoor grill, and that fixed things. That was kind of the answer.
Okay, so
all
that needed to happen was him by memory making her perfume and her buying a $27 indoor grill that was cool in about 2002. So, wow.
Problem solved.
I mean, literally, I think that we do not come up with those solutions regularly. I mean, you as a couples therapist, do you guys talk about indoor
No.
Do you guys talk about homemade perfumes and indoor grills as solutions to your problem? Yeah,
I'm going to put it on my website because I think this is actually important for couples.
Yes.
If only they had known. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I will say for all of our negativity about it because it was so bad, I did think Tess was a great character.
Loved her. I loved Jamila Jamil. Yes.
Yeah. Like they didn't make her too over the top. She's clearly different values than Kate, but like she did accurately read the situation, set boundaries, do the right thing for herself. And I thought the kids were great. The kids were actually together, knew themselves, pushed back appropriately, did not fall apart when they witnessed their parents' immaturity and breakdowns. These kids are resilient.
I mean, weirdly resilient, meaning that's probably not how it's going to be,
No.
right? That's not how the kids would probably be because of just watching their parents. Their dad seemed checked out. Like he worked all the time. Those kids would not be so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's fine. Bring your new boyfriend.
Fine. It's great. We'd love to meet your new girlfriend, although you and mom aren't divorced yet. It's the holidays and everything else. I just want things to make sense. And this did not make sense on any level. Her anger towards the situation, them getting back together with nothing solved. And do we think that George Foreman should sponsor this podcast episode?
I think probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But I do love where Tess was like, well, you have just given your wife
your ex-wife
from memory. Right? And you gave me AirPods. So I feel like that is telling us exactly where.
Tess, you've been dating for 4 weeks.
Exactly.
Guess what?
Exactly.
You got some fucking AirPods out of this. That's not a bad deal. I mean, I guess they are living together, so that changes the equation too.
Yeah, but clearly, why are you living together with a person who's still going through a divorce? Let's say that they really aren't still into each other. You are still with somebody who is messily trying to get out of this, and it is not going well. At all.
No.
At all.
Kids are involved. I'm sorry, kids are involved. You have to put the kids first, even if they're relatively grown kids. Don't make your kids have their first Christmas with the two of you getting divorced be with your new, brand new partners who are probably not going to be in your life long term. Don't do that.
Just don't do it. Exactly. Be thoughtful and be thoughtful to that new relationship. That is going to put a shit ton of pressure on a new relationship that is unnecessary. Danny and I started dating in the beginning of October, and we did not spend Christmas together. We did not spend, a lot of it together until I think at least 6 months or so to figure out what we were and what we wanted to be before we brought a bunch of people involved, weighing in and everything else, which was a really good idea for us. Because my mom was like, invite him to Christmas. And I'm like, no. And it wasn't because of him. It's because of them. So will they make it?
Oh, Kira. I mean, my fear is that they will, but they'll just be in the same place. She'll be resentful. He'll start working a lot because she's always complaining about how he took her life away. Like, I just see them getting stuck in the same place.
And I think that what they wanted to do is they wanted to give us this belief that somehow in this process they realized that what they gave up was a lot. This whole like First of all, Chet, they make him dumb as a rock. I'm sorry to say it, but they did. And then the next minute, he's like a therapist
I
to
know.
Everett,
What?
talking to him about how did you ever let her go? And then I'm just like, what is this?
Plot holes.
Why?
Doesn't track. That doesn't track.
It doesn't track whatsoever. And I don't think I'd be jumping back into a relationship with somebody who controls.
Police your behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It is controlling to a level of disconnection.
Yes.
And I wrote fuck no, which is, I usually write something along those. Nothing has changed except that they both realize that they still care for each other. But that doesn't automatically mean they're going to work on it or they'll work out. And I would need to see some deep ass therapy, real communication skills, and actually deciding if they wanted the same future.
Yes.
Right? Because I think we're just supposed to believe that all of a sudden they've had this aha.
Yeah.
Oh, I was working too much. Oh, I did take you for granted. I guess now everything's okay. Happy holidays.
When really it was seeing your almost ex-spouse with somebody
Right.
else made you jealous, made you realize that you're not okay with that, which nobody would be. When you're not even
Right.
divorced yet, you don't want to see the
Right.
person you were with for however many years with somebody else. Like it was just clearly a reaction to that pushed them back
Absolutely.
together, but not an authentic realignment that will lead to a sustained relationship. No.
And if Kate or Everett were your clients, what would you tell them?
I mean, Kate would be so difficult to work with, but yeah, she just has to take responsibility for her life. This victim mindset of things keep happening to me and I deserve better is not serving her. She needs to be more mature and not retaliate when she's hurt. She needs to consider her kids, have better boundaries with people. I mean, she needs to do a lot of work about giving up the controlling pattern of making everybody do what she wants. And
Right.
her apologies are subpar or non-existent. I mean, I don't know where to begin with Kate.
I know.
Honestly.
And just at the end, how she was kind of terrible this whole time. And then at the end, everybody's, Mom, you're our idol.
You saved our
You're
town.
Like, I know, you saved our town. You made everything right. So it's good and you should just stay. I mean, I don't, why?
Ego. Feed
Why
the ego.
and why? And I do appreciate that if she helped people put in better composting and things like that, that's a wonderful thing.
But
I
it's
am pretty
also-
environmental.
It's also her controlling, right? Did everybody
Yes.
want all of this green technology in their house? Did it cost more? Can they afford it? Is it working? Nobody says, but it's like we're just assuming that she's making like the best choice for them, but she's not. She makes the best choice for her, what she believes and what her values are, and then she
Right.
pushes it on other people.
Right.
Anyway. So Everett, what would you do with Everett, huh?
I mean, I would first of all get Everett back into, does he even want a relationship? Because it feels like he's been just living his life, right? He works a lot in this small town. And I'm sure if you are the only doctor in a really small town, you probably do
Busy.
get calls in the middle of the night. I don't doubt that whatsoever. But he just seems checked out, right? He was working all the time. I see Everett picking somebody like Tess because she's easy. Right?
Yeah.
Because she's easy. She's a bit younger. We can say she's not, but she is. And she's going to just be like, oh, he's this handsome town doctor in a small town and his family's grown. So I don't really have to worry about them. And his ex-wife's crazy, And I mean,
That'll work for him. Yeah.
exactly. And so we have to actually get him in the, do you want a relationship? And are
With
you
this
going to
person.
do tough things like ask for things, have conversations, stop working so much to build that relationship?
Yeah.
And I just remembered that there was that whole moment where he said to Kate, thank you. Like, I'm going to be such a better dad.
Next time around.
Next time around. And yes, would that be annoying? Abso-fucking-lutely. But isn't that also the
point
like the
of-
best case
yes,
scenario
yes.
of a divorce if you're actually divorcing?
Yeah.
Isn't it to be like, thank you for this time together, and
I'm going to grow and learn from it and be better
Yes.
for it. Yes, which is basically
Right.
what he says. Look at, and then I pulled out. He shows growth. He apologizes. He says, and I quote, "It was easier to blame you for everything than to look at
Right.
my own stuff." Wow. way to look inside, be insightful, take responsibility. We do not see Kate show any level of insight or growth to that degree, like nowhere near that. But actually, my favorite quote is at the end when Tess is leaving him and he says, "At least the sex was good." And Tess goes, yeah, it was getting there. It was getting there. Best part of the film. Best part.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Don't move to a small town and start dating somebody who is newly separated. Just don't do it.
No.
So what are our tacos?
I gave it overall a 2 because I thought there were some funny moments, especially with Jamila Jamil. I loved love lesson tacos. I couldn't justify anything over a 1.
And I gave it a 1 and 1 because honestly, I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of there for the ride, right? I will say it, like, I'm kind of there for the ride, particularly the first watch. I'm like just willing to kind of ride it out with them, see how it goes. I want to feel the little smile and giddiness at the end. I felt nothing. I felt
true.
Nothing. I was like, I don't like these people. I don't think they should be together.
That's so true.
Kate, I do think you're going to have an extra job to pay for your kids' therapy, like in the future. That's maybe why you should really work on getting a job, because you're over controlling of their lives and their values and their everything else. That's going to be rough in the future. But like, I just did not, unfortunately, find any part of this enchanting besides the 2 seconds that Pearson Fodé was shirtless again.
Dancing. What about
right.
when he's dancing?
As a character that made 0 point whatsoever.
No.
But
yeah.
it was a 1 and 1 on me for me. And man, I'm not usually that hard.
I know, but you're right. There was no butterflies. There was no romance. I wasn't ever, I hope they figure it out. Or for at any moment between any character, I didn't feel that. So that's not a great sign.
Right. And if I'm watching a Hallmark movie, even if it's formulaic, and at the end I'm like, oh, I'm happy that happened, that's something. But I did not get that here, man.
No,
I did not get that here. I was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. I guess, okay, they're back together. All right. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, I'm with
to
you.
me, nothing has changed. So, all right, guys, that is a wrap on our very first holiday rom-com episode. Fingers crossed next week is better. We have laughed, we've analyzed, and we've uncovered the real-life love lessons or questionable love lessons behind the romance.
Now it's your turn. Tell us what you think. Was this rom-com relationship goals or a total disaster? Vote in our Instagram polls and DM us your hot takes.
And next week, we will be doing another Netflix holiday rom-com. It'll be coming out the 19th of November, and it is Champagne Problems with Minka Kelly and Tom Washnicka, coming to Netflix.
Make sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a review if you love what we do. It helps us bring more rom-com magic and real talk your way.
Because at the end of the day,
we believe that we create our own happily ever afters. And don't date people before they're divorced.
Don't. I mean, it's true. If there's a takeaway from this episode, please let people go through the process and then decide.
Heal. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, everybody. See you next week.